Zach Golden just purchased a film, and he's gonna tell you why. Zach Golden's The Golden Collection.
For those of you who aren't familiar with Barbenheimer, it was the name given to July 21st, 2023, for being the shared release date to Greta Gerwig's Barbie and Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. I was there opening night with my usual film jacket getup, but underneath the leather bomber was the crown jewel of my fashion pull of the day. A t-shirt split down the middle, one side black, the other side pink, with a very tasteless Barbenheimer graphic title plastered across the chest. And that night was such a ride. If you're curious about which film I saw first, it was Barbie. I figured I was going to enjoy Nolan's next big film more than a film about dolls, so I wanted to end the night with an IMAX bang. And I'm glad I did. That's not to say I didn't like Barbie. I'm one of the few straight white Christian men between 18 and 35 who didn't tweet curses and burn rainbow flags upon seeing the film. I actually felt Barbie was exactly what it was trying to be, and I thought it did it well. But clearly, I'm not what Greta Gerwig pictured as her ideal audience member, and Christopher Nolan is my dog, all right? He's my boy, my brohim, my top man, the one I never wanted, but the one I needed, praise God. And of all of my theatrical experiences, there was never one that impacted me quite like Oppenheimer did. And before we get into why, please do all of the YouTube favors if these are the sort of videos you enjoy watching. And let me know in the comments what you did on July 21st, 2023, and if you look forward to more double feature theater events like Dune 3 and Doomsday. And while Oppenheimer wasn't my number one favorite theatrical experience, it was close to the top. I had seen a lot of great films in theaters, but it isn't until you see guys like Christopher Nolan or Quentin Tarantino, when they come out to play, you see the best of what a movie theater can put up on their projectors. I remember the sequence in the first act in which Ludwig Göransson graced us with the musical number "Can You Hear the Music?", in which the character of Oppenheimer is essentially pursuing the nucleus of what he's passionate about. And I remember sitting in the chair surrounded by countless others, and the way we were glued in. I remember the strength and overwhelming mass that was the IMAX theater screen and the soundscape fine-tuned to perfection. It would be an understatement to say that I could hear the music because I wept. I wept during that scene because I had never seen such perfect editing, such perfect subtle performances, such perfect soundtrack, cinematography, coloring, blocking, and visual writing that paid off previous moments, like the paint stroke of an artist who thought he might have been painting too long only to discover he still had so much more to prove. And the film didn't slow down after that. It just kept going. The pacing never dulled. The music never stopped. The pressure cooking, water steaming boiler pot just kept building tension in my chest right up to the credits. And before I knew it, the credits were rolling. It was over. And 3 hours had gone by. And Nolan left everyone in that theater house with a dreadful warning. A warning about ourselves, a warning about our country, a warning about our planet. And how frighteningly beautiful is it to know that an artist spent years of his mind, talent, and treasure to craftfully warn us of what's not very far away. You know, it makes me think of 2001: A Space Odyssey, believe it or not. If you've seen my video commentary on the film, I get into the ambiguous nature of the space satellite sequence following the ape's waterhole conquest. If you aren't familiar with what those satellites were in the script, Kubrick and Clark identified them as nuclear missile launchers. with each country having a station of their own stocked full of these devastating weapons. In fact, the subtext suggests that the main character, named Bowman, returns from the infinite beyond after surviving the murderous one-eyed artificial intelligence. He returns to home in a new form, which is an evolved Starman come to elevate humanity to a higher state of being. And how ironic that Kubrick, a filmmaker who made Dr. Strangelove, a film warning us about nuclear warfare, would go on to make a science fiction film subtly adapting the story of the Odyssey, while also touching on nuclear devastation. A reality born from the mind of Oppenheimer, whose life would be made into a biopic by Christopher Nolan, a man intending to release a film about the Odyssey. And what all three of these stories have in common, for those who may not have read the Odyssey, is that they all explore the prideful depths of man and what they would do to each other or themselves to achieve glory. Could 2001, Oppenheimer, and the Odyssey be the most important trilogy of films for humanity to watch? Is Kubrick and Nolan warning us? What is our pride or our victim mindset or our naivete preventing us from evolving into? Can you hear the music?
Truman needs to know what's next.
2,
What's next?
1.